Alright, so I've heard a lot about bug burgers and what's happening in the Netherlands with the Dutch farmers trying to fight back against the government's policy of reducing carbon emissions because, cow farts and all that. So I'll start off with a speech from this woman.
And then finally, we cannot hide away from human population growth because it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
So yeah, I'll give her that. The Earth has 7 billion people, so you have to have lots of agriculture. And these Dutch farmers, the government wants to reduce the the carbon, cow farts, by like 30%. So a lot of farmers will go out of business. So what are they going to replace it with? Well, that's where you get your bug burgers from. So circling back to the Dutch farmers, if they go out of business because of government legislation, would they be able to convert to insects? Probably not. They probably couldn't afford it. Now, the big meat producing plants, they could afford it easily. Again, I just see this as another means to get rid of the individual farmer. Less and less individualism, individual property ownership, more corporate overreach, control. Politicians don't like individualism. It has a nasty habit of creating people who think outside the box. So yeah, you'll eat your bug burgers and like it. All while the elite, well, they'll be chowing down on a steak. Because, during the coup, people like this woman were going against her own sayings about wearing a mask indoors. Do as I say, not as I do. Another thing with this woman, she says that overpopulation leads to everything, so I'm going to start with the food epidemic. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, the reason why the world has a food problem, half of the world is underdeveloped when it comes to agriculture. You look at the Western world and then you compare it to, say, South America or Asia or Africa. It's just no compare. The West is so advanced in terms of that. So again, in my opinion, if the entire world had the same agricultural technology, machinery, techniques as the West, we'd probably be producing enough food to feed triple the population is now. Now, when she said all the world's problems stem from overpopulation, I kind of got a bit of a chuckle at that because I was like, even racism, sexism, Islamophobia, transphobia, that's all because of overpopulation? How exactly does that work? Also, she wants to go back to a time 500 years ago. I wouldn't, because 500 years ago, yeah, the population would be lower, but you wouldn't like it. Because most people had a life expectancy of like 30 years old. I mean, you'd be lucky if you lived to be 30, if you were a peasant. Maybe if you were an elite, you'd live to be like 50. And as for being a woman, well, you probably wouldn't live to be 20. And yes, I know she was talking about the population number, not the actual way of life 500 years ago. However, overpopulation, overcrowding is what led people to explore, to find new places to settle, to spread. And, that's where you got new nations like America or Canada. English settlers, they flocked to the New World to make a new life for themselves. They prospered, they developed, and they created new technology. So, in summary, I think this woman is just a mouthpiece trying to push her agenda. Well, that's it for my little ramble. Take care.